everyone, this is Bill.
And Lana and Winnie.
Welcome back to our channel and Life of the Earth Part 2. In the last episodes, the Earth entered its first ice age, which is caused by a cosmic event. The freeze Earth and had a significant implication for life. The Earth's surface is frozen, but the organism beneath the ice could still survive if they're lucky. And Earth back then, it was mostly covered by water and very little land.
Yeah, hence the ice.
And this new icy dark environment, many Earth life forms struggle to survive.
I'm sure.
And for example, the cyanobacteria we just talked about.
Yeah.
It relies on sunlight to survive, to photosynthesis and survive. When there's no longer sunlight, they had a tough time during this ice age.
Well, that makes sense.
So in a surprising twist of survival, many of these single-cell organisms start to combine to form a more complex, multi-functional organism. And think of like a survival strategy. Some organisms that could perform photosynthesis, like the chloroplast in the modern plant cell. And they team up with the others that could survive in the dark, like mitochondria. And together they could continue to exist throughout the ice age. And this is the origin where the plant cells, they have a light cycle and a dark cycle. The process is not just that they're eating each other. It's more like they're merging their ability to survive in harsh world.
This kind of makes me want to play snakes.
You mean Slytherin?
Yeah. Just eat them all and get bigger and bigger.
Over the time, the gene swapping and merging of the function set the stage for something bigger, eukaryotic life. So eukaryotic life refers to organism composed of cells that containing a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. And these different organelles originate from different prokaryotic cells. Now let's forward to 7 a.m., about 1.8 billion years ago. This is when something pretty extraordinary happened. The first supercontinent formed.
Supercontinent? What's a supercontinent?
Is basically imagine the 7 continents combined all becomes one.
Oh, okay.
It was called Nua, and it was made up of volcanic mass created by Earth's mantle. Imagine a giant early version of the world that later becomes Greenland and North America today.
Got it. Okay.
Nua didn't stay for too long, and soon another supercontinent, Columbia, formed as well.
Okay.
The Earth has been changing with continent splitting and merging over time through earthquakes. And right now, we are most familiar with the 2 supercontinents. The Eurasia, Africa continent, and America continent, including North and South America with Greenland. And back then, the Earth was still figuring out its continent puzzles, and every week it seemed like there's a couple of continents that join together or they pull apart again. Now let's skip ahead to 10 a.m., about 700 million years ago. We're looking at another cosmic event. Another collision of galaxies, and this caused by another starburst.
Okay, so another star broke.
Yes, another round of a supernova explosion. Just
Wait,
like
does
before.
that mean we have another ice age?
Not exactly. Just like before, the Earth entered an ice age, but this time is a bit different. So instead of a continuous cooling from the early event, this become a freeze and thaw cycle.
Oh.
The Earth would cool and then warm up, and then cool again, and then thaw. This constant cycle led to a mass extinction and a major evolutionary boost.
I was about to say, if you don't evolve, then you're definitely not going to stick up for, all those changes back and forth.
Right. During these repetitive freeze and thaw cycles, a single-cell organism now began to emerge to evolve into a multicellular organism. It happened fast, almost like a burst of innovation within 10 minutes of Earth timeline from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. A single-cell organism have evolved into a larger, more complex form. The first multicellular organism were simple creatures like sponges. They came.
Don't forget the jellyfish.
The next step.
Next step.
But it didn't stop there. Another 10 minutes later, around 10:20 a.m., the Earth experienced another brief ice age, followed by the appearance of some pretty advanced form of life, like you mentioned, the jellyfish and trilobites.
Oh, trilobites.
And these creatures were huge at the time, and some of them even reached to 3 feet long or a meter long.
Oh, wow.
By 10:30 a.m., we hit one of the most exciting points in Earth history, the Cambrian explosion.
Oh.
In just 2 minutes between 10:30 a.m. to 10:32 a.m., all 35 phyla of life appeared almost at once.
That's kind of crazy.
Just in 2 minutes, the life diversified massively. This was a huge leap forward for life on Earth, and it's still one of the most astonishing events in the biological history. Now where things get a little bit tricky. Some people argue that Cambrian explosion can be fully explained by evolution theory. Even Darwin himself admits that it could be a mystery.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have no idea how all of those at one time, that sounds a bit weird.
That's what his thought too. Some creationists used the point to challenge Darwin himself on the evolutionary theory, and suggesting that a sudden appearance of life in a short time simply implied intelligent design, like it was done by the god.
Ooh, aliens or god?
On the other hand, the scientists think that explosion of life wasn't such a sudden event. It was happened to be a perfect time and environment for fossilization. So the condition on Earth at the time was like the presence of calcium and phosphorus made it easier for those organisms to fossilize. And of course, the scientists draw their evidence from those fossils to make the claim. It was like everything came together to preserve the ancient life form and give us incredible snapshot of evolution in action. And here's something cool. If we look at animals that came from Cambrian explosion, we'll find that all mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and the birds share a common ancestor. And get this, the common ancestor is a bony fish.
A bony fish?
Yes, it's a bony fish. And you know, in a way, when I say I'm a fish,
you actually mean it.
I actually mean it. Humans, birds, and fish, and all their ancestry are back to this bony fish, which has appeared around 530 million years ago.
Oh, wow.
Now let's jump a bit more to 1050 a.m., where we have the first mass extinction. This is significant because even though the early Earth already had several rounds of extinction, because this one occurred after a truly diverse range of organisms to begin with, is a lot more organisms died.
Yeah, we have more animals and stuff.
Half of the creatures from the Cambrian explosion went extinct during this event, but just like the other disasters on Earth, after each one, the life re-emerged in a new and often more advanced form. Let's go back to the timeline, and now we're 11 a.m., which is 70 million years after the last mass extinction event.
Oh, gee.
It's just another catastrophe, another mass extinction that wipes out almost all marine life. We're not quite sure what caused this, but marine life was hit hard.
Really? So no one completely understands that yet?
Probably happened to be ocean-specific catastrophe. And in this time of crisis, the fish face a huge dilemma. How can I survive in the sea anymore? So if I'm the fish, I would think, maybe the sea isn't the place for me anymore. And then they begin to evolve lungs.
We get frogs.
They start, frogs later on. They breathe in air instead of using gills. And this spark of the emerge of amphibians, or frogs, the creatures that could live both in water and on land. But they couldn't completely detach from the water or land, so they would alternate, sometimes return to the water and sometimes to stay on the land.
It's like Hannah Montana. Best of both worlds.
Best of the both worlds, exactly. It's fascinating. This evolutionary leap doesn't seem gradual, doesn't it?
No, it seems like just a random thing they chose.
Yeah. It's almost as those creatures were preparing, perhaps, for another mass extinction happening in the future, and to make sure their survival by their flexibility on both land and water allow them to evolve rapidly. Fast forward just 30 million years to 1105 AM, about 320 million years ago. This is when the first reptile emerged.
Okay.
And the earliest reptile is called a fish lizard.
A fish lizard.
Yeah. Now everything is kind of like a hybrid form.
Yeah, I was about to say that we have the bony fish and we have the fish lizard thing.
And this creature became a Hylunomos. Now Hylunomos wasn't a giant creature. It was only about 20 centimeters or 8 inches long.
Oh, that isn't big at all.
But it marks a major leap forwards of the world of land-dwelling creatures that we know today.
So this was a fish lizard, right?
It's called fish lizard, but it can live independently of water.
Okay. So question was, is it a fish with legs or what?
You can think of that way.
Yeah, okay.
Now let's move ahead 10 minutes. 10:15 AM. And here comes another third mass extinction.
Let's do it again.
And this one is the biggest one yet.
Oh.
It wipes out staggering 96% of the marine life and 76% of the terrestrial life.
Well, good thing they got legs now.
Right. But after this, something amazing happens. The dinosaurs start to emerge.
So wait, we went from lizards, fish, to dinosaurs.
We went from fish to fish lizard to dinosaur.
I'm sorry, I forgot the fish lizard.
Yes. That's a transition.
The big crucial moment.
Right.
Went from 8 inches to 8 feet.
Right. And here's the thing about dinosaurs. They're not quite like the lizards we know. These creatures are like us in a way that they suddenly stand out on 2 legs. The first known dinosaur is called Iraptor, and which is discovered in current-day Argentina.
Okay.
It was about 1 meter or 4 feet long, bipedal, and had 5 fingers on its hand.
Now bipedal, that means it had 2 legs, right?
Right. Bipedal means bi is 2, pedal legs, 2 legs.
Got it.
They also have 5 fingers on its hand. It's kind of like our hand. And the big question is, why did dinosaurs start walking on 2 legs? Some scientists think it's because a walking upright free up their hands. But it's still a mystery on exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Alongside the dinosaurs, the mammal also appear, and the earliest known mammal is the Morganucodon, and discovered in Yunnan province, China, back in the 1985.
Okay.
And get this, Morganucodon was the size of the little mouse or a small puppy. So despite...
How small is that puppy? And how big is that mouse? Wait, those are very different sizes.
8 inches.
Okay, that's better. I'm like, wait.
Despite its small size, it had a huge head. So much of it had a nickname, Giant Skull Beast, because its head made of a third of its body.
Oh, poor thing. You can just picture it falling on its head all the time.
It could be. So during this third mass extinction, a couple of the key evolutionary paths took shape. One led to mammals, and another creatures that resemble early dogs. And mammals, by the way, they're really strange at this point. For one, they're viviparous.
Okay.
They give birth to the living young.
Not eggs.
Not eggs. Unlike, egg-laying reptiles. They had fur, which, as you know, is not something that you find in a lizard or fish.
I hope not.
And this might be one of the most bizarre evolutionary steps.
Yeah, I can see that.
Fast forward to another 15 million years to 1130 AM, about 200 million years ago. At this point, the Earth faced its 4th mass extinction.
Oh, gee.
This one wipes out about 70% of the species on the planet, but here's the kicker. This one did not affect dinosaur. Instead, the dinosaur thrived. think a way that eliminates dinosaurs' competitor, and as a result, the dinosaurs began to dominate.
Well, that makes sense, yeah. When they have no competition.
Right. The big question is, why were the dinosaurs spared? And no one knows for sure, but it's almost like the dinosaur has something special about them, that some evolutionary advantage that allowed them to survive.
Maybe it's the eggs.
Maybe. At this time, they were already adapt to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Around 1150 AM, about 65 million years ago, an asteroid with a diameter about 6 miles or 10 kilometers
Okay.
struck the Earth on current-day Yucatan Peninsula.
Oh, gee.
It caused the 5th mass extinction event.
And dinosaurs, I'm assuming, don't survive this one.
Exactly. At this time, the dinosaurs, the mighty lizards that had ruled the Earth, were completely wiped out.
We all heard that story as a kid. It was an asteroid.
It was like a cosmic reset button. After this extinction, the Earth entered in a new era. But something extraordinary happened after the asteroid impact. The mammal began to thrive. So let's summarize. These 5 major extinctions occur within 1 hour on the Earth clock. The first is 10:50 AM, the second at 11 AM, the third at 11:15 AM, the fourth at 11:30 AM, and the fifth at 11:50 AM.
I'm noticing a pattern.
It happens very short period of time. So
Not
here,
only that, but extinction after extinction.
right. And so here's the kicker. So all these extinctions were triggered by a cosmic event, by the supernova explosions or asteroids. But now we are entering a new phase because the 6th major mass extinction is happening right now and isn't caused by a cosmic event. And this one's driven by human.
Oh, why does that surprise me?
Global warming, effectively. And unless we are aliens, well, let's just say it's strange how we are causing the extinction ourselves.
I mean, yeah.
So after the dinosaur went extinct around 65 million years ago, the life on Earth began to evolve in very different directions. And over the next 50 million years, the genetic mutations and hybridizations give rise to the primates, and eventually human.
Yep.
By 11 AM 59 minutes and 12 seconds,
Okay.
just before hit the 12 o'clock, our ancestor apes emerged. And this moment was marked exactly the halfway point of the Earth, a time where we are halfway through Earth clock of biological evolution.
I love apes. They look so gentle.
They're very aggressive. You know
I know the males. I know, like the ones with
Remember
the white
the
dots.
haramba.
Oh yeah.
Remember the haramba?
But they look so. They look so nice.
Not quite. Now this is a fascinating part. And over a few million years, something incredible happened to our brain. Scientists discovered that 1.8 million years ago, 600,000 years ago, and most recently 150,000 to 200,000 years ago, there were a significant burst in brain capacity. What's even more surprising that these surge in brain size coincident with the major volcanic eruptions. It's strange, right?
It is weird. It's definitely weird.
Some scientists suggest these eruptions release heavy metals and radiations, which cause mutation and result in a sudden increase in brain activity. So why did our brain grow so dramatically after these eruptions? It might be that the radiation from the volcanic activity triggered the genetic mutations that enhance our memories and reasonings and other cognitive function. And as if the eruption acted like a nature's push to accelerating the human evolution.
It's not a bad way of thinking about it.
Right. And this led to the merge of Homo erectus, our true ancestor, around 1.8 million years ago, and then around 150,000 to 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens, which is us, finally appeared. This marked the final stage of the human evolution, and it happened just as Earth were near the midpoint of the day.
We are in that midsection, aren't we?
Yes. Now let's zoom in ahead to 11:59 a.m. 58 seconds. The moment when Homo sapiens were emerged. By this point, our ancestors have developed everything that they need to dominate the Earth. They spread across the globe and reaching every continent except Antarctica. By about 10,000 years ago, humans had fully populated the Earth and the agriculture begins.
Yep, so we start farming and, raising animals.
And here's the funny thing. Agriculture didn't just start in one place. It appeared in different regions or multiple continents at the same time.
So like everyone was on the same wavelength.
Yes, somehow on the same wavelength. Why did it start? No one knows for sure, but the beginning is significant. Agriculture didn't kick off until humans fully occupied the Earth. It was as if the Earth was fully prepared for the next step. Agriculture marked the first major turning point in modern human history.
It's kind of needed in our history nowadays.
Yes, there you have it. From mass extinction triggered by the cosmic event to the rise of humanity, every twist and turns in the Earth history has been shaped by disasters. Alright, let's pick up where we left. It is 11:59 a.m., 59 seconds, and 58 milliseconds.
Milliseconds, gee.
The exact moment when agriculture was born. But with this crucial development came something else. The extinction of the Neanderthal and Denisovan. While we humans began farming, these relatives of ours didn't make it. If they had survived and mixed with us, it's possible that they would have discovered farming too.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And it's almost as if the fate had a hand in their distinction, setting us on the path to dominance, with farming as the key to survival.
Interesting theory.
Maybe it wasn't just about survival. Maybe it was about being the one allowed to farm.
Could be.
When farming began, humans also learned how to domesticate animals, raising sheep, cattle, and other domesticated animals. This led to a far more stable supply of food, which in turn allowed the population to grow. And as food becomes more stable and abundant, humans no longer had to constantly worry about survivals. And this shift gave people the luxury of time. It came a burst of creativity and new industries. The handicraft began to emerge and allow people to trade their goods for food and making YouTube videos.
Yep, gives me my favorite pastime, shopping.
Right. Shopping too. Trading, shopping, same thing. This sparked the rise of one and another industry, and each one more specialized from the last. As this industry developed, it became clear that people couldn't live far apart from each other. They need to be close for trading. And also, the first city formed. The very city of humanity appeared in Sumerian civilization about 6,500 years ago in the southern part of the modern-day Iraq, in the Mesopotamian plain. The city marks a turning point on human history. For the first time, humans had law, currencies, measurements, a system that governs daily life. As how did the system come about? It's unclear, but they just appeared. Almost out of nowhere, and the foundation of the civilization has been waiting to be discovered. And then, around 300 years ago, a key moment in human technology development occurred in England. James Watt, a member of the Royal Society, invented and improved the steam engine.
Oh, yeah.
And that sparked the first industrial revolution.
That's a really good one.
This technology breakthrough set the stage for machines to replace humans in many types of labors.
Even now.
The steam-powered ships and trains revolutionized the transportation and make it easier for people and goods to move from across the globe.
I feel like transportation was so much more comfortable back then. Like But they look just so cushy, the seats.
It was the opposite.
Really?
Imagine go from United States to China in 2 months rather than 12 hours.
Yeah, but look how comfy those seats are. I could sit on those for 2 months.
Just 80 years ago, computer emerged and opening the door to a new era of human progress. The ability to process and store a vast amount of data allowed humanity to perform tasks and solve problems that were previously unimaginable.
80 years ago? I know
Only-
people who are 100 years, so they've been there.
They've been there. They've been through the era without computer.
Wow.
The 30 years after that, humanity did something once again to be impossible. They landed on the moon.
Some still say it's impossible. You hear
Some
the
people
theories,
did.
yeah.
I know, we know. And this lunar landing, which occurred about 50 years ago, and also coincident with the rise of the internet, which shrank the world.
Yeah, it does feel smaller.
It does. And suddenly the Earth felt smaller and we're more connected. And now it's new, exactly. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
But this is unwritten history right now.
Right, now we're talking about futures. But before we got there, what will happen to the Earth in the future? What does the next half day on Earth timeline looks like? In about 400 million years ago, around 1 p.m., all planets on Earth will die. This isn't because of human activity. It is because of the decrease in carbon dioxide.
Really?
Plants rely on carbon dioxide to survive, and they absorb it from surrounding atmospheres and converting into oxygens, and which is essential for life on Earth.
So you're actually saying it's good that we're burning fossil fuels?
In a way, yes. Ocean will evaporate. The blue planet that will become uninhabitable, like the Saturn. The surface is desolate, lifeless rock.
It's kind of like we're going back in time from the very start.
Right. In about 2.5 billion years, as the sun continues to burn brighter and become bigger, the Earth will lose its ability to support life. The surface will become too hot and the ocean will boil away. By around 10:30 p.m., 4 billion years from now, the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy would collide again and spark a chain of reaction of supernova explosion, the UV radiation, gamma rays, and many cosmic radiation will bombard the Earth. And by this point, the life has already vanished. The water will be gone, evaporating into the void, and the Earth will become a dead planet. And life, as we know, will cease to exist.
So, what do we do?
We'll get to that in a bit. And finally, in about 4.5 billion years, the sun will keep bigger, become a red giant, and engulf the Earth. The blue planet that once nurtured the life will become swallowed by the sun and disappear from the universe completely.
I've heard that theory. I didn't know it was actually real.
It is real. It's physics. It's actually 100% will happen in the 4.5 billion years from now. This event is inevitable. The Earth's destruction is a matter of when, not if. Now let's think about the place in all of this. We found ourselves in a critical junction in the Earth history. A past is filled with life, with explosion of creativities and evolutions and discoveries. But the future is filled with disasters, extinction of all life on Earth. So what will happen to us? Getting back to the question you just asked.
We'll probably have to find a different planet that kind of looks like ours, but isn't the same.
It's one of the ways. So when we look ahead, there are two main possible for the humanity. The first, the Earth become uninhabitable, and then we will have to leave. But where will we go? The furthest we can travel is the Andromeda galaxy. It will eventually collide with the Milky Way. So even if we escape the Earth, we'll never escape the cosmic collision.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Right. The best way we can hope is that we find a new planet in another galaxy to survive there.
So we'll go with my idea. Got it.
But we never truly be safe from the eventual destruction of the universe. The second possibility is that instead of leaving Earth, we will transform. Perhaps approach to the end of human life will develop mechanical bodies, the perhaps artificial intelligence that can survive the destruction of the Earth. And these AI begins to live on and explore the universe in our place, and telling the stories about us, about the human who once lived in this planet, remember as the gods who give birth to a new form of life. Or we could be enslaved by AI, like the movie Matrix. It is a strange thought, isn't it? And perhaps one day AI will look back to us as their ancestor, the God who created them. And we might become the legend to a synthetic generation that takes our place on Earth and beyond.
I knew I was legendary.
So here we are, right at the crossroad of time, in between the vast past of the Earth, incredible history, and uncertain future, from the birth of life to the rise of a human. And now, the dawn of artificial intelligence. It's clear that a journey of life on Earth is full of twists and turns. But whether we survive or evolve into something else, the one thing is for sure, our history is just one chapter in a much bigger narrative in the universe. And who knows, maybe we'll be remembered as the ancient gods who spark a new kind of life.
Maybe. Either way, thank you so much for joining us today and looking at the deep dive of the cosmic world. If you thought this was interesting, please hit that bell button so you can see the next video. If you really like it, please like the video and subscribe for more info. Thank you so much.